everybody. Is anyone here? Can you all hear me fine? You know what this feels to me? It feels like, in the Wii, the Nintendo Wii, when there's like the Me Square with all the characters and they're all like hanging around, like bumping into each other, looking very awkward. That's how I feel right now. Like when there's the meme music of like the Wii. It's like do 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 do. I literally feel like this when I have to wait for people to show up on a live. Oh, somebody says loud and clear. Yay! Okay. Oh, wait. I already see messages. Did people leave messages like earlier? Huh. You can do that? Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna just read through the messages you sent, and I'm gonna start with those. By the way, I just burned my tongue because I made myself some tea, and I made tea in a cup that says "Coffee Lover" because I'm a rebel, and I burnt my tongue, so that's great. And I'm very sorry for only doing a Skate Canada recap on a Wednesday, I think it is today, but yeah, I've had some a hectic week. Oh, hi, yay, people are coming in. Hello. Yeah, it feels really weird. Like when I don't see messages on the side, I'm just like, am I talking to myself right now? So that's great. Hello. Okay, so I'm just gonna read through the messages you guys sent before. And also, last time I did a live, it went on for around 2 hours. That's not going to happen today. I'm very sorry, or good for you. I'm not sure because I have something else to do. I have my friend's birthday, so I have to get out in like 50 minutes. So it's not going to happen this time. Somebody says, who do you think would be the top lady if everything were judged fairly? I'm not sure because it would really depend on the competition and how they would perform. But yeah, I do think that it would shake things up for sure. What do you think of the scoring in Skate Canada? Fair or very inflated? I thought it was slightly inflated in the men's as well. Normally, I complain about women inflation, and it was inflated in the ladies. Well, I'm going to get there, but I thought Nam's score was very inflated as well, although I do like him. Elsa says, sto cercando di seguire quello che dici, ma sto cucinando. I'm sorry, enjoy your cooking. I just want to ask you, do you think that Evgenia will get to Grand Prix final? No, I do not. With a 5th place, it's pretty much impossible. She should win Rostelecom to even have a chance, and I don't see that happening with Trusova there, so no. Thoughts on Young Yu becoming the first Korean woman to land a triple axel in competition? I was very impressed with Young Yu's short program in the sense that for it being her Grand Prix debut in seniors, she went there with so much confidence and just landed all her jumps on, very clearly. She got a very good score for it. And also very, very good, very high GOE. But yeah, it was great. The triple axel in particular was a very good triple axel attempt. So that was nice. Will Zhenya, wait, what has a chance for Euros or Worlds? I'm not wearing glasses, I can't read. Or when we get to see her much this season? I am not really sure. If I were to make a prediction based on, the beginning of the season, I would say I don't see her going to Euros or Worlds this year. But I would keep my eyes open for the next. Do you think ISU will change to allow quads and senior ladies short program? I mean, it all depends on the direction they want to take the sport in, and considering how it's going, I think maybe. But right now it would be very discriminating because only 3 ladies can do quads. One of them is injured right now, so 2 ladies can do quads. So it would be a little bit, it would make it impossible for anyone else to win, pretty much. So Trusova's components. So as always, I do want to put a disclaimer out there because Trusova is a very, very young girl, young athlete, and 2, because I do think that she's an incredibly hard worker, and obviously I can see all the effort and the athleticism that goes into her jumps. But if I have to solely focus on her components, then I think that the medium aids that she's getting right now are absolutely ridiculous for what she's putting out there on the component side. I mean, obviously, on the technical side, she's doing things that have never been done before. She's consistently jumping quads. I only really do like her quad toe. I think her quad toe is quite legit, and it has height and it's very consistent. So I really do commend her for that. But speaking of components, and obviously I'm talking only for myself, as always. I'm not a technician or anything. I'm just a fan. I think that her components at Skate Canada for the free were ridiculous. Sometimes, when I see scores like that for components, I just, I sometimes feel like I'm in the Emperor's New Clothes tale where everyone's seeing these beautiful clothes and I'm just like, I don't see them. But yeah, I think that, yeah, her component scores, I mean, I totally expected this to happen, so it didn't shock me at all. But do I agree with them? No. Love your hair. Thanks. Just watched it. Your reaction on Evgenia hitting the boards in the short program. I mean, let's do a little bit of recap because I'm not recapping anything right now. I'm just answering questions as always. So let's talk a little bit about the ladies, and I'll go through the comments as well. So Trusov, I've already spoken a little bit about, but yeah, her consistency is commendable, especially when it comes to quad toe and quads in general. And in general, her jumps are remarkable. Her quads in particular are remarkable. Also, I like the Lutz loop combination in the short. Spins to me aren't that great, her spins in particular. And what I really struggle with is her step sequence. I'm glad that they called it level 2 in the short because I really do think that they're doing no work at all on her steps and on her presentation. And it's working. So she was first. Her programs I don't really like either. But obviously great achievement for her. I just can't be too excited about skating like that because it doesn't fit at all into my preferred style of skating. So I hope it doesn't come off as too negative towards her because it's not against her. It's a general observation about like the type of skating that I like, and she represents the total opposite of that when it comes to style and performance and components, pretty much. Obviously, she's a great jumper and great technician. Then in second we had Rika Kihira. Okay, so I have to be extremely honest and say that I really, really, really dislike all three of her programs this year: short, free, and exhibition program. As much as I like her, obviously she has so many great qualities as a skater, especially technically speaking, and also her skating skills are really good. I do find that the side that she needed to work the most on, which was components, really suffers from these programs. I especially dislike her short. I was watching it with a friend of mine who's a casual watcher. He's been watching figure skating for ages, but just casually, And when Rika's short program was on, he was just like, he was not feeling it at all. And I kind of like, because I know Rika, so I know that she's a great skater, but I feel like without knowing that beforehand, just that program and that performance, even though she had a clean skate and on the technical side everything went well, I really dislike the choreography, the choice of music for her. The costumes to me don't even fit the music, especially in the short. The costume for the exhibition, by the way, that was a big no moment. So somebody says that they were positively surprised by her interpretation in the free. I mean, that's good. Obviously, that's personal taste. It's just, I personally don't really see it. I don't think she's feeling the music especially in the short. I must say the short, out of the 3 programs she has this year, I would say the free is probably the best one. And the short is a no, and the exhibition. So, but she had solid skates. Mistake on the triple axel in the first triple axel in the free skate, and also she's still not doing triple outs because of her injury that she had right before Autumn Classic, and even so, she's still greatly competitive. But I think that she's gonna want to try quad sal as soon as she's feeling better, because we've all seen what the situation is like, and I'm sure she's wanting to try it as well. Overall, I mean, I was, as always, impressed by her technique and not as impressed with her presentation, and really don't like her choreographies. It's really upsetting after Beautiful Storm to see Great Rika with these programs and these dresses. I agree. I love Beautiful Storm. Beautiful Storm was such a good program, great choice of music, good choreo. It fit her style and it fit her level of interpretation. The costume was great. So to me, it's difficult not to see these programs as downgrades on the music and choreo side. Obviously, again, this is also a matter of personal taste, but to me, it is a little bit of a downgrade choreo-wise, although obviously her skating is still great. But yeah. And then in third, as we were saying, we had Young Yu. I predicted this. I just want to put it out there. I said this was going to happen. It did happen. I sensed it happening when I saw her practices. And granted, if Medvedeva had been clean in the short, she would have comfortably won actually over Young Yu. Obviously, that didn't happen. But her triple axel, Young Yu's triple axel in the short was very, very good. I think for me, she's a pleasant skater, but there is so much work to be done on her interpretation of the music. To me, Young Yu, I quite like her technical elements, but I do think that there's work to do on skating skills and on presentation. Presentation, I would put number one of the things that I want her to work with. Obviously, she's super young. Same, the same that goes for Trusova and all the other newcomers goes for her. They're very young, so they need a lot of work on their presentation. It's necessary for all of them. Medvedeva has beautiful programs. It would be a shame if she doesn't get to develop them because she can't jump quads. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation right now. At the same time, if she had been clean here, she would have medaled instead of Young Yu, who has triple axels. So yes, without quads, it's difficult to win competitions now, because obviously as soon as you find somebody with a quad, you're going to lose to them most likely. But she also needs to work on being clean. And to be frank, if she continues letting what happened in the short program happen in the future, she's never going to get out of her slump. I mean, she did get a bronze at Worlds, so it's not a real slump, but you know what I'm saying. Even with the quads, Evgenia is very slow now. I don't think she's a slow skater. I don't find her slow. I've seen her live last year when she wasn't as good in skating skills department as now, and I don't think she's slow at all. She's definitely improved in the speed department. I think that what's really holding her back right now is her lack of consistency, which is ironic because she was known for being consistency queen, and in the end, it really ended up damaging her in the long run. And nerves, yeah, I think it's nerves too, but she needs to find a coping mechanism that works, because I thought after she went clean, Russian Cup final, Worlds, and Autumn Classics, I was like, okay, we're out of the woods. She's getting back into, the swing of things. But the magnitude of her short program meltdown at Skate Canada was pretty, big. And she can't let that happen anymore. She needs to find a coping mechanism that works for her. I don't think the problem is her coaches either. I think the problem is her. And I'm not trying to, shame her for having nerves, or, we've all known what she's gone through. We all know what the press writes about her, like literally every day, and how much hate she gets for some reason. She's like the Anne Hathaway of figure skating, that at some point everyone hated Anne Hathaway for no apparent reason. But it's up to her to find a coping mechanism that works for her, because, she's going to need it. She can't afford this to happen. If she hadn't had this, she would have gotten a bronze here. She can get a easy silver at Rostelecom. She could easily get into a Grand Prix final with a silver and a bronze. And now it's not going to happen for one program, because then the free was great. The free was really, really, really good. I really liked it. It's a good program, good interpretation. The jumps were all good. Also, she got the full edge called on her Lutz, which obviously she has a visible and well-known flut. So I am totally in favor of her getting an edge. But no one else is. So I think now she's getting the edge because judges know that people are looking out for it. And so they feel, called out, and they're like, oh, I better call this, because otherwise people are gonna know that I haven't called a flut. But they need to do this with everyone. Like, I'm very okay and happy with her getting her call, because obviously she has a big problem with her Lutz edge. But I want everyone else to be held to the same standards, so that we can finally see some clean Lutz edges, because they're gone. They're gone. Like, in ladies, there's barely any clean Lutz edges, and I want to see more of them. And I think if they started to call them reliably, people would start working on it more. So there's that. What else? Evgenia's free was the best I've seen her skate in the last 2 years, I think. I agree, actually. I think her free skate here, from a, total point of view, was better than her free skate at Worlds that landed her the bronze medal. I think that it's such a shame that she messed up the short, because now we're finally starting to see real progress. So that's great, but she needs consistency. She can't keep doing this. It's never going to work. It's really nice makeup. My makeup? Thank you. We've just done it. So it's kind of upsetting that Evgenia's scores don't show improvement even when she's clean. She did improve a lot, but because her scores were inflated during her best years, the scores are reflected. I 100% agree with this. I think with her, we're seeing the true damage of overscoring a skater to such an extent. When they do something to improve and move forward, because she was overscored when she was like 15 or 16, the scores will never reflect it. If anything, they'll just keep going down and down and down. So it's such a disservice to skaters when they get so overscored, because there's nowhere they can go. They can't grow anymore. And even if they do grow, because normally they tend to be quite young when they're so overscored, it's never going to show in the scores. It's just going to discourage them, and ultimately it's going to drag them down. So don't overscore the skaters. I feel like Young Yu will win over Ansu at the Korean Nationals. If I'm not wrong, Young Yu already won Korean Nationals like 5 times. So, yeah. Oh, pairs, I'll get to that in a moment. Let's finish with the ladies. Do you think Evgenia's meltdown in the short is a mental issue? 100%. Yes, it's definitely not a physical issue. Her practices are all fine. Do you think Evgenia needs a new coach? She looks so upset of the short and not talk to Brian. I think she was just upset. I don't think she needs a new coach, because the improvement is clearly there. The mental block comes from a very unique situation. What Brian and Tracy and their team had to work with her was a pretty much never before seen situation. A skater who had pretty much won everything apart from the Olympic gold, overscored to the moon, queen of consistency, And then a 180 starts to get hate from everyone, starts to get bashed, and starts losing her consistency because she's reworking herself. Mental problems start, coming into the picture because of that. It's. I don't think anyone else would have done better, to be honest. I think it's her. She needs to find, maybe work with a sports therapist, or I don't know, trying to find the reason for this. This is up to her. Obviously, her coaches need to guide her through this. And I think that Brian and Tracy will want to work on a method that helps her more to overcome her mental problems, especially in the short program. But I think that I don't think that a different coach would have done better or more. But I do think that it's something that they as a team need to work on more. The thing is that even if Trusova's components were scored correctly, she still win on her technical base value. Yes, this is exactly it. If Trusova's components were scored correctly, she will still win by a huge margin. There is no need for her to get high eights, mid eights in components. She will still win comfortably. So I don't understand why they need to do this. What do you think about Ansu repeating her short program for last year? Well, that's not strictly Skate Canada, but in short, I think it's a good idea. Let's see. Oh, do you think Rika needs steps before her triple axel to get more points? No. Tutka Misheva added steps and it did absolutely nothing for her. So Rika has found the key to her consistency. So let her be consistent with her triple axel at this point. All right. I think there's a video of Young Yu doing a quad toe. I think there's a video of her doing a quad. I can't remember if it was a toe or a sal. Have you seen Rika's Spirit exhibition? And if so, what do you think? I really disliked it. Do you like Trusova style? I've already spoken about this. In short, no. What do you think about Brian's words in the Kiss and Cry? What? I don't know what to do. I mean, I think both of them were not expecting this to happen. And in the moment, he probably had no way to explain what happened because they had 3 good competitions behind them. And so probably they thought they were out of the woods with her mental blocks. You can't really predict this sort of stuff, in my opinion. Okay, so to sum up the ladies, because I really need to move on to the men. Oh, Brady and Marin. Yes, let's finish with Brady and Marin. Good idea. So Brady came in 4th. Brady, solid, consistent. I'm really appreciating her this season because, like I've said, I'm not going to talk about her programs because I've already done it last week, but I'm appreciating all the effort that she's putting in. I think that 4th place was fair here. It was a battle between her and Medvedeva for 4th place. In the end, Brady won pretty much because she always gets level 4s in her spins, which is great. Her spins are amazing. And that small difference was Medvedeva's spins got, I think, a level 3 and then like a V spin. So that really made the difference. And that's a sport, that's a game. I don't know if Brady can make Grand Prix final with silver and 4th, but I think she'll be in the run. Marin, her free skate is so pretty, and she's such a beautiful skater. But she's so not consistent with her tech that even though she is a beautiful skater, she is really not managing to be in the conversation when it comes to podiums and stuff like that. Also, I do think her components are underscored. At the same time, I don't see the same sharpness that I used to see from her when it comes to, skating skills and interpretation. I just think, there's so much that needs to come together because she's such a lovely skater. Brian always seems like such a Debbie Downer in the kiss and cry after a bad skate. I agree. I think is a very emotional person. He seems to be like an emotional person. But I mean, if you work for so hard and you see, your skater was hitting practice, and we've seen her practices were great, and then that happens in competition, it must be, honestly, it must be a downer. Okay, let's move on to the men. For the men, I'm gonna start with Yuzuru, of course. So he was in such good shape. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I was waiting for him to be in such good shape for years, pretty much. So please, let's be injury free forever. And so, like I was saying, I think a couple videos ago, I am not super happy with him keeping both programs for last year, especially the short. And if after seeing two perfect or almost perfect skates here at Skate Canada, I am of the same opinion. I still think that the short program should be a new one. Although this one is good. Sorry, I'm just going to drink for a second. I think the short program is good, but I wanted to see something different. And it's not my favorite short program of his, if I have to be completely honest. I don't like the music that much. The free skate was so exciting. A couple of landings were saved, but quad toe Euler triple flip is such a cool combination. And if you see the fan cam, it pretty much covers the entire short side of the rink. The jump combination, it's so beautiful, so crisp. And I cannot wait to see him peak physically, because this is not his physical peak yet of the season. So I just want to see what he's going to do more. It was such a joy to see. His triple axel in the short was insane with the Twizzles entry and the Twizzles exit. It was just beautiful. I absolutely loved it. I don't think he was underscored. I think he was scored correctly this time. I think this was it was pretty fair scoring, actually. This was the first time I could really feel Yuzuru is free. His performance was insane. Yes, it was, compared to when he did it at Worlds last season, there was a massive improvement. I agree. Although I do think, because I want to be nitpicky with Yuzuru, I do think that his performance can be even better. I think that here there was a lot of focus on the technical side. Obviously, he is a good performer and he's an all-around good skater. So the program definitely didn't suffer for it, but I do think that he could do even more than this. Also, I'm looking forward to seeing whether he decides to add a quad lats or try a quad axel, if you're healthy, please. Has Yuzuru explained why he repeated his programs? Yes, because he only got to perform them a couple times last season, and he felt like he didn't manage to perform them to their highest level. So did you see Trusova and Yuzuru doing quad toe side by side? Yes, I did. It's nice to see. It's nice to see you know, side by side comparison, because it's never been done before with a lady and a man. So that was interesting. Will he put Quadalupe in short program to up his tech point? I don't think he needs to in the short. It's definitely going to be a dog fight between Nathan and Yuzu. Okay, dog fight. It's going to be exciting for sure. I'm excited. Let's see. Did you find the Canadian audience a little less applauding when skaters landed quads than the USA? I didn't really pay attention to that, and I couldn't really hear it, so I'm not sure. But yeah, going back, I get distracted so much by the questions. Going back to the men's, just going to round up the podium. In second place was Nam, and so good performances from him, big step forward. At the same time, I do think that he was really overscored. And I have to say this for fairness. I always say that the girls are overscored or blah, blah, blah. I think Nam was overscored here. Call it home bonus or whatever. But I thought that the scores he got were really, really, really overscored compared to what I saw, although he is a pleasant skater and he gave good performances. But good for him, happy for him. He's a nice skater. And then in third, Keiji Tanaka. I actually really enjoy both of his programs this season compared to the last. And for me, he's a very good performer. He's not the most consistent skater, and maybe he's not the most exciting skater, but I find him a good performer. And I think that he's quite well balanced in tech and components, and that's always a plus for me. So yeah, homeboy bonus for Nam. Yeah, a little bit of a homeboy bonus for sure. Thoughts on Matteo? Matteo, my boy, my Italian compatriot, could have been better, could have been worse. Well, so I think he's, his strong point last season was his consistency. Now that he's trying to up the game, that's been thrown off. So he's reverted back to doing triple loop instead of quad loop. But I think it's just messing with him because he was doing one thing and then he changed layout and then he changed again. And I just think he's lost a little bit of his consistency. But I'm not worried, to be honest. I think this is just a weird transition period that he will be able to overcome in the second half of I'm pretty confident that by the time European Championships come around, he will be all right. I think last season it was the same. He kept trying quad toe, never worked. Landed it once at Euros, and then bam, consistent with the quad toe. So he's just gonna need some adjustment. But I'm only sad that I'm not gonna see him at Grand Prix final in Turin because I would have loved to root for him in person. And Dennis, he's a lovely skater. He has such lovely qualities. I'm glad that he did well in the short program here. I think, the biggest enemy for him is always the free, because he seems to have, to me, he seems to have, apart from inconsistency, he seems to lack stamina a lot. I wonder if they could do something to improve that, because he's so tall, and I think, I don't know, maybe off ice. I think stamina is such a big problem for him. And then Camden was in fourth. Not a huge fan of Camden. What do you think? I thought it was all right, actually. I wasn't expecting him to do as well as he did. So it was a pleasant surprise. And I find him a quite enjoyable skater, but he doesn't particularly stick out for me. Matteo, to your face. Yeah, I agree. Somebody says, did you read User's interview yesterday that he was considering taking out transitions if Skate Canada didn't go well because of the trend of rewarding less perfect quads? Yes, I've seen this, and it's sad that it has to get to this point, but at the same time, they're athletes. They have to do what the system is telling them to do if they want to continue winning. So I'm not surprised that he thought that this may be a possibility. I find Camden to be a beautiful skater. I quite appreciate him. I think I need to see him more. That's pretty much. So pairs, I only managed to catch like a little bit of pairs. I just want to ask, like, why can Tarasov and Morozov get it together? They are like one of my favorite pairs, active pairs. They're so good. And I just want them to be able to be finally consistent. Like, why can't they be consistent? It's just so good. To come in third here, not to take anything away from Wojkowa Kozlowski, who had a beautiful competition, or More Towers Marinaro, who are a good pair. But Tarasov and Morozov should be able to win this with their eyes closed. The fact that they're still doing the same type of like semi-flop is just so frustrating to me. It's the Ti Amo curse. Yes, it is. It's because they picked the wrong version of that song. What do you think of Morozov's haircut or lack of thereof? I think he's trying to resemble Bill Weasley as much as possible. I don't know. They're really starting to look creepily like Bill and Fleur. But yeah, I've only managed to catch the podium performances. And, I still prefer Tarasov and Morozov from the others, even if they kind of flopped. But I have to say that Wojkowa Kozlowski gave such beautiful performances here, and they were really on point. And they're such a young pair, they can become so good. But so far, I give the edge to Tarasov and Morozov because they're better performers, and they have like such classy, elegant lines and style. And for dance, that haircut, oh my God, quarter life crisis. Yes. For dance, again, I only managed to catch the podium pretty much, but okay, so two things. First thing is I love Gilles Poirier, and I love their free dance to Joni Mitchell, but I am missing Starry Night because it's one of my favorite songs, and their program was so beautiful. But I'm very happy that they won here. I think they won deservedly, even though, obviously they were playing, at home. I don't think it was. I think it was a fair win, and I also think that Hubble Donohue's free skate is such a mess, and I don't want to see it again. I want them to scrap it all off and get something else, because that A Star Is Born medley is just not it for me. It's not working at all, and it looks heavy. It looks weird. It's not, it doesn't. It's not great. It's just also weirdly put together, in my opinion, and their interpretation is not. I don't know. I just don't really like it. I would change it personally. So I'm glad that they lost to. Well, no, I'm glad that they lost sounds really bad. I just, I'm glad that Gilles Poirier won over that. Do you think the Hubble Donohue's show program is better? In all honesty, I don't like either of their programs this year. So there's that. We really like Gilles Poirier. I like both their programs, especially the free. They always excel in the free dance. And for Fear Gibson, first British medal like in ages at the Grand Prix, if I can remember it correctly. Great for them. I do think, and don't hate me because I do love them, I find them so entertaining. I do think that they're a little bit overscored because their skating skills aren't like the top-notch skating skills. I think actually the Americans, Hawaii Baker, should have probably been third, but that said, Fear Gibson have the most entertaining free dance, so I'll give them that. Piper and Paul deserved it. Yeah, I agree. Hubble Donohue need a complete overhaul. I also agree. Who had the horrible Marilyn Monroe program at USGP? Yeah, it was them. No, привет. So that's kind of it for Skate Canada. It was a very messy recap. I'm very sorry. I think I haven't covered like even half of it. So I apologize. But if you want, I still have like 10 minutes. So if you want to ask me questions about Skate Canada and other GP competitions, this would be the moment to do so. Also, somebody said a little bit earlier, who else is super stoked to see Shoma Uno at International de France? And I have to say, I am stoked to see Shoma Uno. I miss Shoma. Also, one of my many Discord username nicknames in the past has been like Shoma Uno's trophy wife or something like that. Just random stupid things because my Discord friends make fun of me for my sudden love for Shoma. So there's that. Predictions for International de France. So I am so curious to see who's going to prevail between Alina and Aliona. It's going to be super interesting. And yeah, I think it's going to be between the two of them. And obviously, Kaori is aiming for the bronze, and I would assume that she's probably going to get the bronze. So I would say them. And for men, Nathan in first, Shoma in second, and Kevin Amos in third, I would say. I'm worried about Shoma this season. He needs a coach. Yes. Didn't Michel Kwan teach us anything in 2002? Preach. I agree. Shoma definitely needs a coach. As much as I absolutely love him and his new programs and everything, he's gonna need a coach for consistency and just for everything. Really, skaters can coach and skate at the same time. So Amos, hard, says somebody. Yes, I love Kevin Amos. Do you think Yuzu is repeating his classic programs for the gala? It seems so. I just want new stuff, Yuzu, please. Does Shoma have any chance against Nathan? I don't think so. If Shoma keeps being inconsistent as he is, and if Nathan keeps being as consistent as he is. So who knows what is happening with Koleada. I think he has some sinusitis kind of issue. And he's taken the season off to get over his health issues. So I wish him all the best of luck for that. I think Aliona should win if she's clean, but Alina is usually overscored. It's going to be interesting to see how they value their components when put one against the other, actually. I think it's going to be very, very, very interesting. Speaking of Aliona, I just read an interview from her that I saw on Twitter. So I think it's a transcript from an interview, I'm not sure. And she was talking about her love for horse riding, which is great. But among other things, sorry, I just got a funny text from my Discord chat. Hi, Discord chat. But among other things, she said that she can see herself skating after she's 21, and she thinks that ladies will not have a future in skating as adults because of the way that skating is developing. And on one hand, I agree with her, because if we keep going this way, and if it keeps being evaluated this way, then yeah, probably that's what's going to happen. We're only going to have like 15-year-olds on, in senior ladies. And but at the same time, although I do think that she's right in the sense that this is probably what's going to happen, I hope that this is not what's going to happen. I think it would be such a shame to lose skaters such as Aliona, who to me is an amazing skater. It would be such a shame to lose them at like maximum 21, when you've seen like how much better was Carolina at 25, 26 than she was when she was 16. And yeah, I don't want this to happen. I know I'm repetitive on this topic, but I really do care about this. And also, I find that there's a great deal of, I don't want to say misogyny in this, but it doesn't really happen with men's skating. It really only happens in ladies skating, that the ladies, female athletes are considered disposable in this way. And I don't like that. I hate that. I don't want girls to perceive themselves as disposable, and to think that once that their bodies have developed completely, and once that they've become adults, that they're to throw away and that they should just retire and do something else. I mean, if that's their decision is one thing, but they shouldn't feel forced to retire. And clearly we're reaching a point where soon real adult ladies, and not like 15, 16-year-olds who still have developing bodies or anything. I mean, actual adults like 18-year-old and upwards, they will have real problems staying relevant, real problems medaling at competitions, because what Aliona said in a way is right, that adult women can't do that same type of jumping that 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, or even 16-year-olds in some cases can do. And so they can do it. So it's the ISU's decision to decide whether they want to preserve spots for adults in the female figure skating scene, or if they don't. If they don't, then I mean, it seems like they don't, and then that's what they're gonna get. They're gonna get a senior ladies field that's completely made of teenagers, 15 and 16 and maybe 17-year-olds. I think that's quite dangerous a message to send, to be honest. Obviously, that's just my opinion, but let's see. What do you think about the comments of Jason being not men skating because he skated only triples? I think that's ridiculous. And the same goes for Trusova not being feminine. Yeah, I don't think either of these things make any sense. Who gets to decide what's like masculine skating or feminine skating. I don't know. I find it a very backwards way of thinking. So I disagree with both statements, for sure. Do you think the media's fascination with new teenage girls in figure skating would translate to fan attention? I'm not sure. I don't really have a way to measure popularity of the sport, but I think compared to what it was like 15 or even 10 years ago, the sport is not as popular as it used to be. And I think part of the reason, especially when it comes to ladies, is that we don't have a Yuna or a Mao or a Michelle. We have, these bright, super talented girls who disappear after a year or two or get tossed away for the new thing. So yeah, the male champion is 24, the female champion 15. The age gap is disturbing. I agree. And I mean, this is not to in any way to take anything away from the talent of young skaters. I think that it's not to say that they're not talented, that they shouldn't be given chances, But at some point, you do also have to look at biology and at the reality of the fact that women and teenage girls do have very, very different body types, and it's just simple biology. So you can't really compare the two. And once the revolution starts, we all know it. People are going to try to follow. I just don't see many adult ladies being able to follow down this path without seriously hurting themselves. And also, I think that with the continuous changeover, we are losing maturity and refined presentation. Obviously, with some exceptions, there's always going to be an exception, but in general, even somebody as talented as Kostranaya, who again is one of my favorites, I'm sure her presentation would be even better, 1,000 times better in 2-3 years, because she would have more time to develop as an interpreter, which is completely normal. Which is not to say that she's a bad interpreter or poor interpreter now at all. She's very musical. She's a great performer. She has great skating skills. But just imagine what she could do with more time, even more time to develop and just refine her skills, Do you watch the skating lessons? Sometimes they mention your channel on their videos. I do sometimes, but I don't really always have time to watch them because I barely have time to watch actual skating at the moment. So lately I haven't been watching because I just don't have time to do anything. But if they mention me, hopefully it's like good things. 5 minutes and I have to go, so let me pick. Do you think Tursunbayeva's injury is a result of quad chase? I can't say. I'm not her doctor. There's no way for me to know. I just know it's a back injury. It could be from the roughness of landing the quad. If I had to make a wild guess, and this I just want to say before I get sued, this is 100% allegation and speculation on my part. I think that the type of torso twisting that went into her quad south could have helped her back injury a lot. Let's see. Tursunbayeva withdrew from her Grand Prix assignments, but she's doing an ice show. Is she doing an ice show? What ice show is she doing? I didn't know about this. Hopefully they're being careful with her because that's really worrying, actually. According to her mom on Instagram, she could barely bend her back forward, so I don't know why they will let her do. I know she's an adult, but like that's not great. Nutcracker. Yeah, I wouldn't have her do this personally. I just want her to recover, I'm honestly wondering if Trusova will be able to make the next Olympics. Who knows? What's going to happen to these girls who are jumping quads now at 15 is anyone's guess. So I would tend to think that something will probably change. But, I can't predict for sure, but let's see. Okay, let's read somebody who's against well, not against, but like who has a different opinion, because I'm for fairness. Trusova is a phenomenal athlete, and quads are here to stay as they should be. Sport, and it has to progress. Men do it, so why not the ladies? Respect all skaters. Aries fit is fabulous. Okay, so I 100% respect Trusova and the amount of hard work that she puts. One, two. I do think she's a phenomenal athlete for what she's able to achieve. 3, quads are here to stay. I do think that it's a sport. I do think that sports need to progress, but I also think that they need to be monitored for the health and safety and well-being of the athletes. And I don't think that this is being done correctly. If men do it, so why not the ladies? I'm not saying that the ladies shouldn't be doing this, but also biologically, men and women do have different bodies, and that's just the reality of things. They have different bodies. That doesn't mean that ladies or female athletes aren't able to jump quads, but at the same time, I'm yet to see a woman with a more adult looking body jumping a successful quad. So I do think that for the safety and well-being of both the young athletes who get pushed into jumping so many quads, maybe at their danger, and for the health and safety of the adults who may get seriously injured attempting to keep up, that there should be regulations in place. That's what I think. Oh, okay, it sparked a conversation, but I have to leave in a moment. Program components are part of the sport. Yes, this seems to be not as important nowadays, does it? What do you think about the Vida Skate Canada exhibition program? I think it's nice. I like it. It's classy. Do you think Trusova will keep her quads when she matures? I don't know. Sasha's side by side with user was adorable. It was really nice. Yeah, it was sweet. I understand the implications of having the ladies field be filled with younger skaters and short careers, but I also feel it would be just as sexy and unfair to ban the ladies from doing quads. What I'm saying is absolutely not banning the ladies from doing quads. I think that, I think that would be unfair. But when I talk about regulations, I'm mainly talking about age regulations because so far, the only adult who has been able to land a quad is Tursimbayeva, who has a very specific type of physicality. That's not the norm for the majority of lady skater. Obviously, that's an advantage of her, but I'm not convinced. I wouldn't ban ladies from doing quads. Personally, I don't think that that's the way. But I also think that the way it's happening now is not, it doesn't convince me, if I have to be honest. Sam says, sure. What does that mean, Sam? I don't understand. Okay, last few questions. Do you think the ISU will come up with a different way of scoring before 2022 in order to preserve the more adult skaters and their artistry? No. I think if anything, after Beijing, the Beijing Olympics, we're going to see a changeover, and we're probably going to see what they wanted to, what's been talked about already with the technical program and artistic program. I think that's the way they're going to take it. Torsi Mayeva was already 19 when she did her quad. I literally just said this. Hello. I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous today. The fact that Anna Shcherbakova is what? 38 kilos is terrifying for me. I don't want to go into the specifics of a person's weight because I think that's a dangerous area to talk about. I think it can be triggering. I think it can be dangerous. So I don't want to comment on the specifics of her weight. What I can say is that I hope that she's, is following a healthy athlete's diet, and that she is being taken care of when it comes to eating habits and her weight. And we know, there have been some statements coming out from her coaches in the past and from her teammates in the past that made me worry. I can't really know how much she weighs. I don't want to know how much she weighs, in the sense that I think it's not nice to comment on someone else's weight. But let's see. Do you think Kostranaia will jump triple axel in your short program? Yes. Do you think Aliona will have a longer and healthier career because she doesn't do quads? I am not sure. Triple axel is quite taxing. It all depends on how they're approaching it. So, have you seen the video showing Shailene and Evgenia creation of memoirs of a geisha? Yeah, it was really interesting, actually. I've seen bits of it on Twitter. So what do you think of having 2 panels of judges, one for tech and one for components? I think that would be the easiest and most logical solution. So obviously the ISU is not doing that. Why are quads not allowed in the short program? I think just because so far, so far there weren't any, so the problem wasn't really there. But also, I think so far, if they were, the gap between the 2 people who jump quads right now and everyone else would be like 100 points, and there's no point, no competition there. Can I just say you're such a great commentator? Oh, thank you. That's really sweet. Who do you think will win the best choreographer? Oh, is this the award ceremony? Let me just close on that note. I think that is such a stupid idea, the award ceremony thing. It's just, I can't. It's just, depressing is all I can say. All right, so I have to leave because I have one social event of the week, so I'm gonna go. But yeah, I will see you next week with the International de France commentary. And meanwhile, I wish everyone a good weekend. And we have a holiday in Italy on Friday, so if you have that too, also enjoy your holiday. And Dia de los Muertos, Halloween, All Saints Day, whatever you celebrate, enjoy that. And I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir, au revoir. Bye.